Hello, friends. I, Dr. Chirag Patel, faculty at Gujarat Maritime University, will be presenting on technological advancement in HR. Before starting the session, I would rather take this opportunity to thank Gujarat University HRD Center and especially uh, the director of HRD Center, Dr. Joshi sir, uh, professor and director at HRD Center, Gujarat University, for giving me such an opportunity. Starting with the topic of technological advancement in the flow of the session would be uh, what is important in an organization. We'll try to see the evolution of HR movement, the basic concept of digital HR, and the functions of various HR functions due to which the transformation has been happening, or due to which the HR basic functions on which the transformations are happening in the organizations. So that will be the first half of my total 90-minute sessions, under which I'll be covering these topics in the first 45 minutes. In the next 45 minutes, I will try to cover the technologies used in HR functions, how this HR change can be driven, that is, the technological change can be driven, and how further it can be implemented. And of course, we'll try to see the benefits of digital HR. So this is basically the flow of the session, wherein at the end of the session, you will try to understand, or you will try to at least know, or you will try to realize that there has been a huge impact of digital HR and what exactly digital HR is, how the technology is been implemented into the organization so that the flow or the activities which are carried out under the department of HR, that has how fluency the organization have occurred, how fluency in the HR activities has been happening because of the implementation of activities, that is the transformational activities like digitization has been happening in the organization. So basically, overall, you will get a basic perspective of what do you mean by digital HR and how the activities are been, how the activities are been implemented into the organization based on the digitization of HR. That's what the basic perspective of this session is. Moving ahead, why HR is important in any of the organization or any of the industry? Why HR plays a very critical role? That's the first question that we'll try to answer. Friends, we all know that satisfaction and the engagement level of the employees plays a very critical role. Satisfaction, if the employees are not satisfied, if the employees are not engaged into the activities or in their job roles, uh, the organization will not be in a position to achieve its final objective. The organization will not be in a position to achieve its final goal. So satisfaction of the employees plays a very critical role, and for having the employees satisfied, or for having the satisfied employees, we need to engage those employees into their job roles also, and they actively participate into the basic job role, which is basically helping you to increase the productivity, and how you can make that employee engaged. One of the basic perspective, major perspective, is to have a healthy work environment. So as an HR perspective, from the HR perspective, the employees needs to be provided with a proper ample quantum of resources within which the employees are able to work. And simultaneously, when you are talking of healthy work environment, it's also talking something on the cultural perspective of the organization. So when you talk of work environment, of course, the structure of the organization, the culture of the organization, that plays a very critical role in having the engagement level on a higher end. And if that is on a higher end, the satisfaction also would be high, and organization will be in a position to achieve the productivity or the basic goal. So those three basic points are there, which plays a very critical role from the HR activities, from the perspective of HR that deals in any of the organizations. So at the end of the day, if you are trying to tell that what exactly HR does, it is basically trying to implement various activities within the organization, which is basically helping an employee in moving from one level to another level in its life cycle. So employee life cycle is there. Say, for example, if you talk of a new fresh employee, the recruitment side, the selection side, the onboarding side, maybe some kind of basic training and development activities. And then, of course, over the years, that person would try to promote himself, would try to move up the ladder. So uh, when that employee is trying to achieve some kind of objective individually, that is where the HR plays a critical role uh, in addressing those activities. So that is where that is how HR is very important for the employee also, for achieving its objectives, and simultaneously, as because of the employees achieving the objective individually, it rather is able to achieve the organizational objective on a larger picture. So if employee is not able to achieve its objective, the organization will not be able to achieve the further larger objective. So that is where HR plays a very key role, wherein uh, the basic objectives of the organization is achieved through HR and through the employees basically, and HR is trying to see that that the objectives, individual objectives of the employees are also met, and the larger organizational objectives are also met. And that's the reason HR is important for any of the organization, and that's the reason it's been said as invisible backbone of the organization. Because as an employee, of course, you would be seeing that some kind of activities the HR is playing, but from the customer's perspective, you may not be able to see that what kind of activities the HR is playing. So basically, it's a backbone, because it's HR is one of the secondary activities, or it's basically, it's not considered as a primary activity of the organization, or it's rather, it's been observed as a secondary activity which the HR plays in an organization. But yes, it is rather, I would rather make it a point that I would make a point over here that it plays a very strategic alignment. HR plays a very strategic alignment, wherein uh, the employees are in align to the objectives, to its personal objectives, and simultaneously to the overall objectives of the organization. So the alignment of individual objective and the strategic objective of the organizations, that is rather say mission and vision of the organization, the alignment is been carried in a systematic manner only and only through HR activities. So if an employee is there who is not able to align himself or herself with the strategic goals of the organization, then in the long term, it may happen that the employee is leaving the organization. So basically, the strategic alignment which needs to be done from the employee's perspective and rather the overall organizational perspective, HR plays a critical role in aligning these two. And that's the reason it's basically strategic alignment. Rather, HR is important because it plays a strategic alignment. It is doing a strategic alignment between employees' objective and the organizational vision and mission activities. And yes, when you talk of uh, the various HR activities, say taking care of the employee's life cycle, the recruitment to the retirement and various other activities which are in between the two. Of course, there needs to be various kind of activities in various kind of budgeting activities which HR conducts. Or say, for example, when you talk of various training and development activities, various taking care of the compensation of the employees. So by default, the budget management is being carried out by HR, and that is the reason when it's usually said in the organizations that uh, the employees are able to get the salaries of employees are dispersed by HR, and that's the reason some kind of budgeting needs to be done. And that's the reason it's HR plays an important role. And of course, the database management. The current existing employees, the HR needs to maintain the data with regards to its past certifications, with regards to its current existing skill sets, with regards to the futuristic skill sets which the employees is expected to have, uh, rather depending upon the futuristic skill set which the employees would be getting it, what kind of further promotional activities can be carried out for that individual. So all this various database which is pertaining to the existing employees, that needs to be managed by the HR, and simultaneously the HR also needs to manage the the futuristic or the applicants, the futuristic employees database also. So the applicants who have applied, unka data set that needs to be managed of, plus simultaneously which all agencies are there which can help you out. So there has been huge quantum of database management activities. Moving ahead, friends, there has been a huge evolution of the HR movement. The kind of the digital HR or the kind of digital transformation that has been happening, or the kind of various applications or various digital activities which HR has been doing currently, it has been evolved over the period of time. And that's what the slide, it reflects you with these all this huge evolution which has happened in case of HR, starting with the pre-revolution era, wherein you had various various artisans, various small regional artisans were there. It may be potter or cobbler or various other artisans, wherein they used to manufacture that XYZ product and they used to barter it. Since then, it has been observed that there has been the requirement of certain level of skills. So that is where the yields or skills came into picture. But it was a very regional level, or it was rather not on a larger scale. It was not organized, but over the period of time, because of various activities that happened throughout the globe, the First World War, the Second World War, which led to the Industrial Revolution. There was a huge requirement of industrial goods, which basically triggered off the industrial revolution. Various factories came into picture wherein they required the unskilled workers more on a higher end, and that is where the industrial revolution, or rather the transfer of these unskilled workers from developed to developing underdeveloped economies, that's what it started to happen. And after that, it was more of a administrative HRM, wherein keeping the records of these employees, basically the existing activities which the employees are doing, uh, maintaining the records of those activities. That's what it was said to be an administrative HRM. Thanks to various behavioral scientists, wherein they gave a huge quantum of importance to importance to various behavioral side of the employees, that stating that various activities were carried out, various experiments, behavioral experiments were carried out, which at the end it came to a decision, or it came to a conclusion, that if you are having the behavioral side, or if you are taking care of the behavioral side of the employees, it would rather impact the productivity of the employees. And that is where the behavioral HRM came into perspective, which basically triggered the strategic HRM. So if you are taking care of employees, this is how you can take care of employees. And if that is happening, you can have more of productivity. So to what extent you can take care of employees so that you can have more of productivity, the strategic angle to HRM came into picture. So that's where, and slowly and gradually, we all know that the organizations were not limited under one periphery, or into one region itself, or into one country itself. Slowly and gradually, the company started to expand internationally. So that is where the international HRM came into picture, wherein you are not only and only talking of the employees, wherein of one country you are taking care. No, you need to take care of various other countries' employees also. And that is where the digital HRM triggered off. Because me sitting in, say, for example, the head office, Bombay, of TCS or Tata Sons, I'm able to figure out that what kind of activities, what kind of employees requirements are there in my another regional of in my office, which is in Australia, or which is in Asia Pacific zone, or which is in other region. So basically, because of internationalization, because of expansion of the employees, as the employees were not working at one place, the employees were completely expanded globally. The international HRM was that, which basically triggered off digital HRM because of huge expansion of the employees. Uh, of course, we'll try to see the concept of digital HRM. Basically, the concept of digital HRM, it's nothing but it tells you how you can manage the data and how you can analyze the data, so that those analytical those analyzed data is been implemented on a very routine basis at each and every stages of the life cycle of the employee. So basically, when you are talking of the life cycle of employees, there are various stages of employees which a person undergoes, which an employee undergoes. Employee is joining the organization, some kind of training is happening, some kind of promotional activities happen, compensation is increasing. Then it may lead to maybe a career plateau, wherein he over the beyond a period of time, he may not be willing to move ahead, may not be willing to take the promotions. It may be a stagnation of a stage, and then he may be retiring. So all these various processes progress that is happening in the employee's life cycle, you are trying to see how, at which all levels, you are trying to collect the data, you are trying to see how analysis, or how rather analytical tools can be implemented on those data, so that the progress at various other levels can be streamlined for the employees. So that's what you are trying to rather decide upon, or with the help of huge quantum of analytics, or with the help of digital HR, you try to see that how, as an organization, how you can help an employee in improving the life cycle within the same organization. And in that, if on the digital front, any kind of technologies that you are implementing, usually you use, the organization uses SMAC technology. That is, you have social media, you have mobile technologies, that is, you have mobile apps, you have analytics, of course, that because of the huge quantum of data, which is that, of course, you try to analyze those data, and of course you put it on the cloud. So cloud and analytics, those are the latest kind of technologies which has been playing a very critical role. And there has been social and mobile side also of it. So SMAC, social mobile analytic cloud technologies, you are trying to implement the digital HR through SMAC technologies. Of course, few of the live examples, of course, we will be seeing in the next session. So basically, when you are talking of digital HR or any kind of large scale technology which has been implemented into the organization, there are two basic changes which happens. One is the process. It's changing the process, and simultaneously it's also changing the execution or the implementation part also. So process is changing, the pre and the post, that is the execution or the implementation, that is also being changed, and rather the process is also changing. So it's a dual change rather. And of course, the employees experience, that is because right now, because of millennials, or because of rather the average age, if you see, of the employees in majority of the organizations, you will be seeing that it's rather reducing and reducing as of especially for the past the 1 decade. That's what it's been seen in India, and that's the reason India has been said to be a young nation. So more implementation of the tech has been carried out by the HR, so that the employees are having a better experience. And because as the technology has been implemented into the organization, the success is bit on a quicker side. So earlier, maybe the organization was having the selection cycle of 30 days. Right now, currently, it has been reduced down because of thanks to technology. Within 15 days, it is able to achieve it. So the organizational success has become rather quick, and it's useful for the organization. But whenever you are implementing the what you call any kind of heavy technology within the organization, the three things you need to be very, very careful of. One is the security, because when you are implementing the technology, we all know there has been various malwares, there has been various threats, and the technology is vulnerable to all these threats. And that's the reason there has been various instances wherein the employees' data has been hacked by XYZ uh, hacker, and the problems has been happening. So security, yes, it plays a critical role, or rather, whenever you are implementing a technology, security needs to be checked properly. And then it's the sustainability. And sorry, when you talk of sustainability, it is with regards uh, to what extent, to how many years the same technology will be sustainable. The same kind of technology, you can go ahead with it. So not be happening that you are having an expenditure of, say, implementing the digital HR or all the various activities which is happening on the HR front will be on the digital platform, for which you are implementing, say, 1 crore of amount, or say rather 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, and after 1 year or so you are telling that this is obsolete. That should not be happening, friends. It is something wherein sustainability, the large scale sustainability, it has to be there. So whenever you are implementing a technology which is costly, which is rather important for the organization, then it should be sustainable for the longer duration. And of course, scalability. That is, say, for example, uh, you are having currently, you are implementing an XYZ technology into an organization, say digital, say you are implementing an ERP package, which is basically limited to HR activities. That is, say, for example, you are implementing HRMS, Human Resource Management System, into your organization. And currently you have 50 employees, and rather slowly and gradually your organization is developing, and you require some other technology because you are not able to have the same technology for 150 employees. So rather, that should not be happening. Any kind of technology which you are implementing into the organization, you need to see the scalability. That is, currently if you are having 100 employees, for 1000 employees the same kind of technology should be implemented. So security, sustainability and scalability plays a critical role in the long term perspective of that technology. Moving ahead, uh, rather, there are various HR functions that are been transformed because of digital HR. Now, rather, the role of HR is not only functional, as the technological perspective in carrying out activities has been playing a major role. That is the reason that HR is not only a functional role which is being played in the organization, it is also playing a transformational role, wherein it is transforming various HR functions. So because of digital HR, or because of technological improvement on the front end of the HR functions, HR is also playing a transformational role. Over here, we will discuss out the various functions that has been carried out on a traditional front end, and how to a certain extent it has been transformed. And rather, in the next 45, in the next session that will be of 45 minutes, rather we will try to see the practical perspectives of these functions, the examples, the live examples of these functions, that how actually the digital transformations has been happening on these function side. The first one, of course, we all know that this is basically a life cycle of an employee. Uh, the first one, of course, the major function is recruitment. When you talk of the traditional side of the recruitment that used to happen earlier, it was more and more of giving it in the newspapers, asking some within the organization some kind of job rotation would be happening. You are putting it on the websites, or you are rather floating it out within the organization. So either internal or external recruitment activities, we do it. That was basically the traditional method. But as we all know that there has been a huge implementation of the technological perspectives Social media plays a very critical role in recruitment. We all know that there has been various companies wherein they do recruitment only and only through social medias. So yes, social media, the technology, the mobile applications are there, wherein you have various applications on your mobile phones for your recruitment. You as a company, you are easily in a position to track the applications. So the technology has been playing a key role in the recruitment. How basically it's been playing, of course we'll be seeing in the next slide with the live basically examples of it. Something on the selection. We all know the traditional perspective of selection was rather recruitment is been considered as a positive one, wherein you need more and more quantum of applications, and selection is rather a negative side, wherein you are deducting those applications so that the best fit you are able to get it. So the traditional side of it, we all know in selection we used to conduct various kind of tests depending upon what you call the job description, or rather, so it was more of the immediate boss or the panel of employees are taking a interview. Right now also the same thing has been there, but the methods of analyzing those selection process, so the backend process has been changing. Rather, it has been more towards analytics side. It has been more towards analyzing the profile of an employee, rather how that person is would be best fitting into uh, the organization, and how he would rather best fit into the job role of the organization. That's what, through analytics, through various factors, you are able to carry out that. So that's what is more on the back end side. The technology or the analytics plays a very critical role. And something on onboarding side, friends, we all know that uh, when a employee is coming new to the organization, there has been various activities which goes on, and depending upon the organization, depending upon the industry into which that company works, there has been various onboarding day, that is onboarding activities. Rather it would rather take 1 week to 2 days, 3 days, to maybe even 30 days for onboarding procedures. So onboarding is nothing but how well that a new employee that is coming in into the organization, the new joinee that is joining the organization, how well he's been onboarded. That is how well he is able to explain, how well the organization is able to explain various activities that he is supposed to pursue it. So basically, it's more of understanding each other, that is the employer and the employee. There has been various instances in the past that if you talk of the traditional onboarding system, the employee is coming in the first day or the second day, he deals with various filling up of the various documents. Then he's been assigned that department, he works for the department, and he may be getting the what you call the on the job training activities. So that is where the onboarding activities happens. But because of technology, friends, there has been various onboarding processes which is happening online. There are various activities which is happening online, which is basically reducing this onboarding process. The number of days which the employers take for onboarding the employees slowly and gradually, that has been reducing. So, thanks to the technology, thanks to the implementation of HR, the onboarding activities because of technology the number of days that has been reduced. The new employee is in a position to understand well. He is able to quickly understand because of technologies that has been implemented into the organization. He is quickly in a position to understand, this is what I'm supposed to do. So he's in a position to understand his job role well better when compared to the past. And of course, the training and development activities which happens earlier, it used to be just at the end of the year, the appraisal used to happen. You come to realize, the organization or the immediate boss comes to realize that yes, these are the skill gap which has been pending, and this is what you can do it. And in the next year, such kind of activities will be implemented uh, on the training and development front. But friends, when you're talking of these various technologies or applications which are been implemented in various organizations, this has become the training goals, or rather the skill sets that the organization should be having. The employer is in a position to understand those much quickly, and rather it is also in a position to implement those skill sets through various applications in a systematic manner, so that some kind of digital training is also happening to the employees. So it is not, rather, currently the training and development activities are not only and only confined to uh, the traditional training and activities. It is also rather transformational training activities has been happening in the organization, which is much quick when compared to a normal traditional training activities. Again, compensation, I would rather tell that the technological transformation that has happened, especially for compensation, that is slow when compared to the other functionalities. The reason of that, of course, it may be it's something very secret to the organization. That's the reason the organizations may be a bit reluctant to put it up on the technological front. But yes, to a certain extent, in compensation, also the technology has been playing a key role, but not to that greater extent. As we all know that handling the compensation activities of large scale employees, wherein you have 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 odd employees, and taking care of such kind as those compensation activities or salary activities of those employees, of course, by default, you require some kind of digital transformation, or digital technologies needs to be implemented in those in those peripheries. But it's been seen, rather than, of course, it's not more implemented when compared to the recruitment side or when compared to the selection side. Again, appraisals, yes, it has been a very key issue for the employees. And that is the reason wherein, when you talk of compensation and appraisal, that basically goes hand in hand. And when you talk of a traditional appraisal system, yes, it is something that the immediate boss is taking the appraisal and explaining that this is what you can do it, and you will be getting a rating, and you will be appraised. You will be getting a promotion, or your salary would be hiked by so and so amount. In such a scenarios, wherein the digital activities are happening, in case of appraisals, yes, the digital transformation has happened, wherein the employee is on a digital front, it's able to understand what kind of skill sets are required, so that he can move up the ladder in a much more quicker manner, much more quickly. So rather, he is able to align because of technology, because of digital front. He is able to align more quickly, more appropriately with the activities that he is currently performing and the skill gap that he is expecting, maybe because of couple of promotions which he or she may be getting in the near future. So he or she is able to, in a very nicely, he is able to align the current skill gap and the upcoming skill gaps. And of course, we all know that training, appraisal, and compensation, it goes hand in hand. Employee engagement, yes, it plays a very, very critical role, especially when you talk of various when you talk of the implementation of digital activities into the organization. Yes, there has been various instances. The traditional instances, it has been just what you call, if it's a birthday, then on the notice board it would be mentioned with a photograph, happy birthday. But as of now, we all know that the digital dashboards or the digital fronts, from the employee's perspective, it's on the more on the higher end. That's the reason the engagement which needs to be carried out on those online platforms with the employees are using it, that should be on a higher end. And that is where the employee engagement activities on the employees websites, or which the apps which have been used by the employees on those fronts, the employee engagement activities are been rather carried out in a prompt manner. And that's the reason, as because of the digital activities that are happening on these functions, rather HR is not only and only playing a functional role, just mere undertaking this XYZ function. No, it is basically transforming these activities, how these activities practically, or how rather on a digital front with some digital technology, how it's been transformed. Of course, we will be seeing in the next session, which will be of 45 minutes. Thank you from my end for this session.